It's December 1st and you know what that means. Top 25 Christmas movie countdown. I know top 25 is a little over the top, but I like it because this way you can pick one movie to watch each day of December until Christmas. Before I start the list though, I want to point out a couple of things about the list. First off is that I avoided remakes and sequels as much as possible. And secondly, I ranked the list not just on overall quality of the film, but also based on the holiday spirit of the movie. And lastly, this list is mainly opinion based, so feel free to comment yours and what you like to watch every year. So let's get started. Number 25. Die Hard. Now I know Die Hard isn't exactly a Christmas movie, but it's kind of treated like one now because of obvious reasons. It takes place on Christmas and it's a fun movie. It ranks low in the holiday cheer department, but it's a fun movie and it's a great way to start off the holidays. Number 24. Fred Claus. The premise alone of Santa Claus's older brother hating Christmas and hating Santa is interesting enough, but then throw in the fact that Paul Giamatti plays Santa Claus and I'm interested. There's definitely some jokes in this movie that fall flat, and the CGI on the elves somehow looks worse than it did in Elf. But the scene that really won me over was the snow globe scene. When it mattered most, the movie knew just when to slow down and how to portray Christmas correctly. It's a really sweet moment that ties the movie together perfectly. Number 23. Christmas with the Cranks. This movie can get annoying at times with these modern day Scrooges, but that's kind of the point. They're annoying people, and they have to go through these annoying situations to learn the lessons. In fact, how they perceive Christmas at the end of the movie is even better than the way everybody else has been telling them throughout the movie. It's ridiculous and it's over the top, but in the end, it's a pretty fun Christmas movie. Number 22. Santa Claus, the movie. No, this isn't the Tim Allen one. This is the first ever live-action Santa Claus movie, and it's pretty weird. But honestly, that's half the appeal of it. It's quirky. Who said Santa Claus needs to be normal? Have fun with it. Number 21. Ernest Saves Christmas. This movie is worth watching regardless of whether or not you actually like Ernest. Solely based on the fact that the Santa Claus in this movie might, oddly enough, be the best representation of him ever. Douglas Seale's portrayal of Santa Claus is so genuine. You can see the pain in his eyes and hear the regret in his voice when he's talking about why he can't be Santa Claus anymore.
You know, there was a time when I could remember every name on my list, and now I have trouble recalling who was naughty and who was nice.
From the first scene on, you're convinced that this man is Santa Claus. That alone makes this movie worth watching. Number 20. Christmas Eve. This movie isn't well known and isn't highly rated anywhere. I think part of that's due to the low budget, but partially due to the fact that not all the stories involved have happy endings. But not every ending can be happy, and each person at the end of this movie learns something that will change them for the rest of their lives. That's what matters. Number 19. Mixed Nuts. Most people don't associate in their minds dark comedy and Christmas movies, but then again, this is based off of a French movie. With a great performance by Steve Martin and Madeline Kahn, as well as one of the first ever movie appearances by Adam Sandler, this movie has enough laughs to keep you entertained throughout. And with a little bit of heart, this movie is a great Christmas classic. Number 18. The Ref. This is probably the least typical Christmas movie on this list other than Die Hard. But it honestly really does capture what Christmas is all about. This whole movie centers around a dysfunctional family, and it's about working through their issues and actually using truth to overcome the problems. It takes a non-conventional route to get there, including kidnapping and breaking and entering, but in the end, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot like a Home Alone for adults. Number 17. A Christmas Story. I know, everybody has very strong opinions on this movie. Half the people are going to be mad that I didn't put it higher, and half the people are going to be mad that I put it on the list at all. But the fact is, it's overplayed more than any other Christmas movie, but it's still one of the most classic Christmas movies out there. And definitely worth a spot on this list and watching once a year. Number 16. Santa Claus is Coming to Town. This is the original Santa Claus movie. This movie defines who Santa Claus is to so many people. It is the first Santa Claus movie after all. It set the bar. So you can't really watch any other Santa Claus movie until you watch this one. It defines who he is. Heck, Mr. Freeze loves it.
Louder, come on, sing, 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 come on. Yes, come on, louder.
Number 15. The Night Before. Who says stoner comedies and Christmas doesn't mix? I bet a lot of people. This movie's actually really good to me though. It definitely has some weird clunky moments and there's some obvious product placement that gets in the way. But this movie centers around not only appreciating the family that you have, but also the ones that you pick. Not only is this movie laugh out loud hilarious, but it's also actually sincere and sweet at moments too. Number 14. The Polar Express. Sure, we have Santa Claus movies and we've seen the North Pole in countless movies, but this really focuses around the journey to the North Pole and the magic involved with that. This movie captures the magic of what it's like to be a kid on Christmas, and the animation was revolutionary for its time. What's not to love about this Christmas classic? Number 13. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. If you have a problem with overhyping holidays, then you can really relate to this movie. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and it's hilarious. But ultimately, of course, family's more important than any of it, no matter how much you want to strangle your family sometimes. Number 12. Arthur Christmas. Honestly, I put off seeing this movie for a couple of years because I didn't think it looked that interesting. But when I saw it, I found out I was completely wrong about it. It's very creative, it's different, it's funny, and the animation is great. There's nothing quite like seeing a whole family of Santa Clauses. That's something completely new and fresh. If you're like me and put it off because the trailer didn't really appeal to you, make sure you see it this Christmas. It's worth it. Number 11. Home Alone. What can I say about Home Alone? Everybody's seen it. It's a lot of fun for the whole family. That's kind of like The Ref, but for kids. See what I did there? It's got a lot of great slapstick comedy in it, but honestly the scene that sells it for me is seeing Old Man Marley hug his granddaughter. That scene is priceless. Number 10. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This movie has some controversy around it because not everybody likes Jim Carrey. Well, I do. It's got a lot of great comedy throughout, and it's just fun to see somebody so comically hate Christmas, and hate everything for that matter.
Hate, 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 hate. Double hate.
Loathe entirely.
And of course, by the end, we have a happy ending where people's hearts have changed. And isn't really that what Christmas is all about? Number 9. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
What's this? What's this? There's color everywhere.
Is this a Christmas movie? Is this a Halloween movie? Yes, it's both. This is a dual holiday movie like we've never seen before and probably never will see again. It is equal parts Christmas as it is Halloween, and that makes it fantastic. It's got great songs, great animation, and it's just a lot of fun to watch, whether it's on Halloween night or the night before Christmas. Number 8. Elf. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. There's not a single Christmas movie I hear quoted more than this. And yeah, it's been a bit overplayed since it's come out, but it's a great movie. Buddy's naive innocence reminds us what it was like to be a kid who believed in Santa Claus, and it makes us feel like we're allowed to as adults. Mixes great comedy and holiday spirit perfectly. Throw in some great character chemistry between Will Ferrell and Zooey Deschanel and you got yourself an instant Christmas classic. Number 7. The Santa Claus. The Santa Claus defined the rules of what it was like to be Santa Claus, the contract behind it, and what the North Pole looked like to an entire generation. Ask anybody my age, what does the North Pole look like? They're gonna imagine the sets from that movie. Once again, ask anybody my age what the rules are of being Santa Claus, they're gonna think of that contract. This movie redefined Santa Claus to everybody who saw it, therefore making it the greatest Santa Claus movie of all time. And 1 out of 2 good sequels isn't bad. Number 6. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I know I already included the last one, but you kind of really have to include both. And I do love Jim Carrey, but nothing can beat the original. Especially when the original introduced the world to Thurl Ravencroft's iconic song.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel.
It doesn't get a lot more classic than that. Number 5. White Christmas. There aren't that many Christmas songs more iconic than White Christmas. Bing Crosby's voice is just automatically associated to Christmas in most people's minds. With great characters and great comedy, great song numbers and dance numbers, this movie is a classic of classics. It's the Christmas movie equivalent of a Broadway show, and has the best cross-dressing scene in any Christmas movie ever.
Every little thing that we are wearing.
Number 4. A Charlie Brown Christmas. I don't even know where to begin with this. Everything about this movie's iconic. Great story, great message, great music, great characters, everything about it is just perfect. It's stripped down, it's simplistic, and it gets the point across better than pretty much any other Christmas classic. It's centered around the busyness of the Christmas season. The whole time they're preparing for a Christmas pageant, but we don't even see the Christmas pageant because that's not the point. It stops before we get there because it stops after we get the important part. The real meaning of Christmas. It's not about the busyness. It's not about the big trees. It's about the little trees. It's about the little things. And it's got some of the best dance moves in Christmas movie history. Number 3. Miracle on 34th Street. There's nothing like seeing good win over evil and charity over greed. And we see that in a literal representation of Santa Claus having to overcome big businesses wanting to take him down. He literally goes to court against these people. And it even seems pretty hopeless at some points. But that's when good comes through. No cheating, no lying necessary. Good just wins because good wins. And it's also just really cool to be able to see the kids pay back Santa Claus a little bit for all the good he's done for them. Number 2. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is actually, honestly, I think the best movie on this list. The writing, the acting, the directing is all perfect, and the message goes far beyond just a holiday movie. The story has been retold and parodied countless times for obvious reasons. It's an iconic message with a great story attached to it. Heck, even Shrek 4 was about it. It's a great story about integrity and self-worth that everybody needs to hear at least once a year, whether around Christmas or not. Number 1. A Christmas Carol. To me, A Christmas Carol is the definitive Christmas story. And I can't honestly just pick one version. It's all of the versions. Whether your favorite version is the Muppet version, the Jim Carrey version, or the 1950s version, they're all classics and they're all great. It's a combination of all the greatest things about all the different great classics. It's the story of redemption like in The Grinch, but it's also the same lesson of appreciation as It's a Wonderful Life. But at the end of the day, it's all about how Scrooge learned to help and love other people, regardless of what it did to him, regardless of what he lost. He helped other people. And that's what Christmas is about. Goodwill towards men. Well, now I know what I'll be watching this December. What did you guys think? What's your list for this year? What are your favorite Christmas movies and why? I'm Simon from Simon's Rants, and that was my rant for today. Happy December. And Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year.